I know that you have come over from Alex's channel, Next Level Soul, because as soon as my interview went out, you all jumped over in your thousands, and I thank you so much. I truly hope that you enjoy the tribe, first of all, and meeting all these lovely people in our community, and also enjoying all the videos that I've done in the past and in the present and what's coming in the future. No pun there, what's coming in the future. I haven't got a set regime at the moment of what I should post. I am literally in the middle of moving home. I'm trying to juggle my energies, and it is so stressful. It's so stressful. And so I literally have felt more philosophical lately. I've kind of been listening to the angel realms, the spirit world, and getting a lot of guidance and spending my energy resonating with what they have to say and what their thought processes are on things, because it's helping me get through this 3D part of my life, which is really frustrating. And I encourage you to do the same. It is so much easier nowadays to do that, to just sit in your energy, quieten your mind, and just let them talk. If you let them talk, they will make it so much easier for you. They really will. They can obviously show you potholes in the road. They can show you things that are going to make it so much easier or better for you. When you align yourself to their energy, the whole world and the perception of everything that goes on in it changes. It really does. And so today, it was just something really, really simple. I had to, it's going to sound awful, I had to force myself to go and get my nails done because I'm packing, and, you know, I've just recently been going through the sheds and my nails have been breaking. I thought, oh, I can't be bothered. But I've got an interview with Sean Atwood tomorrow, and I thought, I use my hands all the time, and I thought, I can't be doing this all the time, hiding my nails. So I thought I better go and get them done. And when I was in there, they had this new range, which was this. And these are all like tiger's eye colours, and it really caught me. And when they're doing your nails, you kind of go off, don't you, in daydream. It's a brilliant place for you to connect with your loved ones, by the way. Go to a nail bar. And I looked at the colours and I thought, oh, I am so obsessed with turquoise at the moment, and pale blue, and like greeny colours. You can see what I'm wearing now. I've got my favourite jumper on again. Thank you for your compliments, by the way. I'm going to look for more turquoise clothes now. And the voice started, and it was Julianus. Julianus is my main soul guide. For those that don't know, go and look at the video of how I discovered him. It is mind-blowing. I might try and get it in the link here if I can find it in the description box below. It's about how I discovered him in Italy when he told me where we were from and a previous life. So I thought, I'm going to go and have a look. Wait, you just wait and see what the results are. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So anyway, Juliana said, it's interesting that you are aligned to these colours at the moment. I'm like, okay. And so I normally speak out loud, but I thought I'm going to sound like a nutter in the nail bar. So I thought, no, I'm just going to have to keep it in my mind. And he said, why do you think that you are connected with these colours? And I said, I feel it's because Archangel Raguel represents pale blue. Hence why I always wear Larimore. I'm wearing Australian crystal quartz. I just literally... on opalite, I just literally have to have that on me and around me. And he said, that's right. He said, you are striving for harmony and balance at the moment, and you're finding it difficult. That is why your soul is attracting itself to this colour. I was like, brilliant. And he said, and why the greens? I said, Archangel Raphael? He went, absolutely correct. He said, you are needing healing. You're healing from your past. You're healing an era ending. You're healing the breakdown of the tower that you're now recreating. And he said, so these are why you're aligned to these colours. And he said, and what is your baseline that sits all the time and has done for years? I said, pink. And he said, and that is, I said, Archangel Ariel. And he said, you are feeling more than ever the frequency and vibrant energy of sentient beings in the animal world, in the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. So that's why you're feeling so fiercely defensive and upset. I have to say, I caught some of the footage from the wonderful, beautiful, stunningly brave activists and volunteers that went to try and rescue the 200 beagles from Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin Saturday, and it was absolutely tragic. They were beaten, someone had their nose broken. I know I've already done a short about it, but they were tear gassed, mace sprayed, thrown to the floor, and even the beagles they managed to get, they were taken back dragging and screaming, literally, by the sheriffs back to their torture and hell. And it really, really upset me, a lot deeper than it would anybody else, I suppose. But as an empath and animal lovers, we are natural animal lovers. We respect anything that doesn't have a voice. And that took me down a bit of a wormhole, I've got to admit. And I know that that's a lot of Ariel's influence. So please, you know, especially if you're in the US, we've got the MBR acres here that needs to be shut down as well. If you can sign the petitions, I will put the petition links in the description box below. We need to make a stand. So as I'm having my nails done, I started thinking of this, and he said this is going to be risen in a lot of people's consciousness in the collective, because we want to stand for no more of control, evil, darkness, which has been hiding in plain sight for decades, for hundreds of years actually. And so he said that's why you're feeling it so much. But what you have to do, and then he showed me the Queen of Swords. He's good, isn't he? And he said you have to be diligent in separating the ego system. And I'll describe the ego system in a minute, because I know that they use that term with me, but you may not actually know what the full extent of that means. You need to segregate the ego system from the reality and what you're actually going towards. And I brought this up a bit in Alex's interview the other day. So I will get back to the nail story, don't worry, but this digression, it's almost like I'm half channeling, so I know that Julianus is still with me now. When we are exposed to things in the media or even personally in front of us, we process and gauge it psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. And what tends to happen is, because we're on a human experience, the emotional side of our ego system tends to take lead. It tends to be the driver of our train. And so we react with either happiness, sadness, jealousy, envy, hate, whatever it is. The emotional structure held within our ego system kind of rules the day. It literally reacts to everything, which can then lead to behaviour and thought processes. So we have to be very diligent as we go through this transition to make sure that we balance this out with intuition and soul energy. And how we do that is that on that Saturday, I started crying, and I thought, this is just, how can we have, watching the footage of this dog hanging on for dear life on the floor, and how a sheriff could take that dog and throw it back in the car knowing it's going back to be tortured. I'm like, what world are we in? What human being could go home at night and feel good about themselves knowing that they've just thrown a dog back to its misery because a badge tells it, and because the elite have obviously, you know, their power and their money has said, you will do this, officer. I'm going to let you into a little secret. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I remember when the hunt saboteurs used to come up, and I used to like go, because I used to have to be an evidence gatherer at the fox hunt, the fox hunts before they were made illegal, and I just used to love them being there, and I was so pro hunt saboteurs that I think sometimes it may have contradicted my police duties. That's all I'm going to say, because I just can't bear barbaric stuff like this. And so going through this process, I then stopped. And first of all, I wrote it out in my journal. Journaling is so important. Journaling is so important. I wrote it out to get it out of my system because I knew it would stay in my energy. I knew it would, because it was haunting me how so much darkness can go through humanity and they get away with it, but also how people can do specific acts and not feel responsible for that. And then I sat, the only way I can describe it is I stood in front of kind of like this huge void of swirling energy. And it's very similar to the chamber up in the Crystal Palace, which is where they've taken me only a couple of times, and it's almost like the source of the universe, the cosmic source. And perhaps it's a rare thing to go there, I don't know, but I literally sat in the source energy and it was unreal. I can't tell you. I felt like a grain of salt in this ocean of salt. And I don't know how else to describe it. I just felt so small but so powerful at the same time, and watched the rhythmic flow of the whole of the universal, the time shifts, the time continuums, the time stamps, Gregorian time compared to universal time. It was insane. And I hope you like these free flows, by the way, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just knew I wanted to share about the nails, but we will get back to the nails, don't worry. And so then I stood with this void in front of me, watching this swirl. And I stood back and my higher self, if you like, or even perhaps one of my guides, the angel realms, perhaps Ariel, stood back and said, look at the bigger picture. You have to look at the soul perspective of this situation that took place on the earth. And this mostly covers, like, you know, the Iran war and everything else that's going on the planet, which makes us sick to the stomach, angry, upset, disturbed, haunted. And what I saw is that there was a power in the collective that they're not putting up with this anymore. And numbers are amassing to say, we're not having it. We are not doing it. And they'll go back there and they'll go back there. And I know that something that's gone on for 30 years will be ending soon, in the next couple of years. And then you jump back into ego mode. We think, oh my God, those dogs though, the ones that are going to be there, poisoned and all sorts of things that are going to happen. But you've got to take yourself back from that and see the bigger picture. We are making a stand. We are starting to get a voice as a collective, and we're starting to change things that have been going on in plain sight and been allowed to transpire. And so I stood myself back, almost in that element of being in the universal flow, and I just sent love, calm and assurance to all of those souls in that absolute hellhole. We're coming. Hang on in there. We're coming. We're coming. Let Ariel bring you comfort. Let Raphael bring you comfort and healing. We're coming. Let's just send it there. Bring that comfort in. Ask the seraphim to bring song to calm them down, and just to bring them this solace, this love, this tranquility, to try and help them through these days that they're tortured. And then I send it out to every single living being on the planet that is suffering, that is being exposed to trafficking, it's been exposed to abuse, being exposed to the dark shadows that are allowed to thrive in certain areas of our life, and that the deep state allow. And when I came back from that, just a tiny little visualization, this is how easy it is, darlings. I came back from that visualization and I felt a sense of peace. I felt a sense of justice, and I felt a part of me being there. Even I would so physically be there if I could. Being there, pushing that hope, pushing that resonance of, we will not stand for this anymore. We're losing our fear. And this is all part of this transition we're finding ourselves in, ascending to this higher consciousness on the planet. We will not be scared of voicing what is wrong. We'll no longer be victims that are being told to shut up. People go, oh no, hang on a minute. And this is you're going to see a spiral of this continue. When something is wrong in your local area, the media obviously helps to get it out there. Archangel Gabriel has a massive part in that. And people start to become aware and they fight. You don't have to be physically on the front line. You could be signing the petitions. You could be help, even if it's a $1, £1 donation, whatever it is to help these causes, be responsible. Have your say. If there's something you don't like, rather than sit in the emotional ego state of something, have a look at the further, bigger picture. And I've used this analogy before. And this analogy is that this happened to me actually a couple of days ago. I was looking at the window and a fly, I've got a huge window here, it looks out over a stunning valley. And the fly was just hitting the window, but the side window was open. But it just kept hitting. And it was just pushing, trying to get out. But I just thought in that moment, and this is what happens when you are awake. I thought in that moment, all you've got to do is fly back, just stop for 2 seconds and see there's a window open. But you're so tunnel visioned and so in that mode to get out. You're not seeing the bigger picture and seeing there is an escape. So my escape to dealing with the tragedy that takes place on this planet is to sit back, send love, calm, tranquility, whatever's needed to the victims, to the courageous warriors that are there standing their ground, sending them strength, love, balance and protection from these evil people. And I feel like I've had a part of that thing that could have sent me down a wormhole, which it did to begin with. Can you get where I'm going with this? So it's changing your perspective and going within your soul energy to deal with something. You can use this on a day-to-day basis, easily. It could be something as stupid as, I don't know, your ex-husband creating a problem with the kids. It could be something as there's someone that's, you know, a massive problem at work. You step back and look at the divine perspective of this situation. And that is when you're sitting in that energy, that is when your loved ones, your guides, whoever may be there, your divine guidance will say, this is how you need to deal with this. And you get the most beautiful enlightenment. You really do. So now, yes, I'm going to do it now. Let's jump back to the nail bar. And so I'm sitting there. My nails, it felt like they took about 5 minutes because I was out of it. Lucky they don't do a lot of talking there. And so I said, wow. So I said, so the colours that are calling to me, you know, you go in a shop, if you're clothes shopping or you're looking at something in the shop, you're drawn to a certain colour. Yes, we do have favourite colours in our ecosystem, but there are some colours we suddenly become more attracted to. We suddenly need to be wearing them or having them, or we might change a wall colour. How many times have you changed colours in your home? I used to hate green because my dad died in a green van, and when he turned up with this new van, my mum said, you're going to die in that, Al. And he's, oh, thanks a lot. She goes, you're going to die in that van. It's green. It's not good. And so I hated green, and now I adore green. My bedroom's green, my kitchen was green, but I changed it because I'm moving. I thought it'd be better white, just in case I didn't like the green. But it's a healing colour. And what I've noticed is you've got to remember, and I have said this before in a previous video, you have to remember that part of our makeup, our soul makeup, is colour. So we have colour, light, sound frequency and various other vibrations, you know, just roaming through our soul deliciously through the eons of time. And we add colour, light, vibration, sentience, knowledge to our soul with each incarnation that takes place down here. We also culminate more knowledge when we rejoin our soul family and share our experiences. We are millions of years old, intelligent species that can communicate with every other being in the universe. But they've stopped us from being aware of that, haven't they? So this is the time now that we're coming back to that realization. So all I would ask is that you spend time being present and seeing what colours you're attracted to. Because sometimes those colours you may not be wearing or surrounding yourself by them, but they will keep coming up. And you think, oh, I really like that colour. I've never liked that before. Wear it. Have it in a crystal form. Have it around you, because your soul is needing that colour to fill a void that is needed here. It will also act as a guide to what you need to know about yourself. So for instance, just say if you suddenly start seeing a lot of orange and you think, God, I'm not really an orange person, but that's lovely. Really liking orange at the moment. And you decide to have orange nails or whatever it is. Orange is the sacral chakra. And so when you suddenly become attracted to a certain colour that you've not ordinarily been attracted to, or you keep seeing it everywhere, that colour could be saying, look, you need to work on intimate relationships. You need to work on your base skills of femininity, masculinity. It's all about this, you know, the sacral, trust me to pick that one, sexual representation, desires, what actually makes you feel inflamed, you know, that kind of thing. And have a look at how the colour reflects. So sometimes the colour can be a guide to you to say this is what you need to work on. Sometimes it will just show you what angel realms are around you or that are enfolding you at the moment. To just investigate colour. There is a reason for everything. And I've said this again before as well. When I was detective, I pretty much wore greys, navies and blacks and white blouses underneath. That was my kind of go-to. And I recall, and you'll know this from my book, The Rise and Fall of Britain's Best Psychic Medium. I didn't come up with that title, by the way. My editor insisted. I hated it, but he said it will get people talking, and it did. So anyway, it was just a massive light bulb moment when I had gone from police detective, dealing with abhorrent things, and then coming through, you'll know the story if you've read the book, and then being forced into doing full-time mediumship and workshops and demonstrations and going all around Europe and the UK and television and God knows what. And I remember thinking I need to clear out my wardrobes. I was moving again and I thought I need to clear out my wardrobes. And it was such a startling contrast because I wasn't really aware of it. But one half was when I was detective, right? So you're dealing with murders, murder victims, paedophiles, kidnappers, the real scum of the universe, right? And then the other side was me turning into this medium, and it was a plethora of colour, rainbows everywhere, of every different colour you can imagine. And it was like yin and yang, chalk and cheese, however you want to compare it. It was such a wake-up call to colour. So my soul radiated how it felt. And all these colours started coming into play, which really did wake me up and think, wow, there's something in this colour thing. Think about what you're wearing now. Why are you wearing it? Sometimes it's just because you're just wearing it for another day before you wash it. But other times it could be that your soul needs to wear it for something that's lacking, or it's attracting that abundance and you're wearing it because of that. Have a look at what you're wearing. And equally, I recall saying to Julianus about tattoos, because when I look at my skin on the inside, I love that. It's a mermaid, scales, water, ocean, the anchor of hope. And I look at that, and that makes my soul vibrate and recognise me. When I turn it to human skin, I don't like it. If I was a man, if I was a really skinny, cool chick, I would just have them everywhere. I'm not going to lie. But I said, what is it about tattoos? He said, your soul is full of so much colour, light and vibrancy. It needs to burst out and express its colour and its meaning, if you like, through what you put on your human skin. He goes, that's why you find a lot of spiritually aligned people have tattoos and piercings. They want to sparkle like their soul does. They want to show people their stories, because so many people are framed within their ego, framed within their social acceptance rules, framed within keeping your emotion in check. And so how many of you have got tattoos out of interest? Let me know in the comments below. What are they? These are all really important stories. They're not just, I'll throw a butterfly on or whatever. They're really important stories. And I've also found this one on my back, I've had 4 covers, because with each year, decade, whatever's gone past, my energy's changed, or I've learnt more down here. And I felt that that was out of date, the message I was giving out to the universe. It's only a tattoo on my back. And at the moment, it's currently a phoenix, still I rise, on my back. And it's been a fairy, it's been Hebrew for karma, it's been Chinese for something else. But they were different levels of learning that I aspired to at that time. And then suddenly the phoenix represents pretty much since the last 14 years, since my road accident, where everything's just been, whoa, hold the front door. It's like, oh my Gabriel, do you know what I mean? What is going on? And so, oh my Gabriel, I've always said, oh my God, oh perhaps, oh that's a good one, oh my Gabriel. So we've got shut the front door, oh my Gabriel, what in the Archangel Michael? Oh my Gabriel, random. And so that's what we like to do. That is why so many spiritually aligned, awakened, empathic people like to have tattoos. That's why. They like to just show their soul makeup, because when you go up to spirit world, and I brought this up in my last channeling, I am really aware that I've started doing this a lot. It's Julianus's bristles, but I've noticed I've started doing that a lot. We're always learning and evolving, and I've just been aware that I've started doing this quite a lot, and I don't know why. Perhaps it is Julianus, I'm not sure. But I know I mentioned this in my last Channeling Heaven video, which I'm finding a real alignment to, that the orbs that visit you once you get up to that level, they come towards you. I remember the first time it ever happened, I thought, whatever are they? All different shapes, sizes, colours, sparkles, all different. And then as soon as they hit you, it's like a bubble burst, and you can download every single part of that soul energy and recognise the imagery of the person. And it's just a remarkable thing when one soul meets another soul, without the ego, without the meet so. It's just sublime. And so I feel that because we remember being in that stage of existence time and time again, going back home, we want to be that person that hasn't got, you know, the box in front of them, the personality, the skin, the, you know, meat suit. We want to go, hey, look, this is what I represent. And it might not even be a conscious thing, but the stories that we create on our skin, most of us, there's a meaning and a want to communicate that meaning and have other people see that. Because really, Julianus again said to me many moons ago, he said, you're really only presenting yourself for others. And it's true. You know, it's like if you're in a posh car, it don't even know what it looks like on the outside. You know, you're just on the inside, and we're on the inside. It's what we project out. So we really present ourselves for others. And I think that's why I got to a stage of just being me. I remember before the road accident, I wouldn't go on camera without makeup on, hair done. And it wasn't an egotistical thing. It was my demons making me feel like I wasn't good enough unless I was in my most, you know, my best way of presenting myself. And one of the biggest freedoms of having the accident and starting all those years ago, Bedroom Guru, was that I just said, this is me, this is my transparency. If you don't want to watch somebody sitting in bed with all the knowledge they have as an enlightened soul, then you're not the right person to watch this. And the strength and the clarity and the confidence that you have to show your reality is remarkable. It's like my mum, she literally had to have makeup on to go down and have her breast removed. And then she checked her makeup as soon as she come round. It's like, wow, bless your heart. So I see a lot in people now and reflect why they present themselves as they do, why they are certain people. And I've still got that innate marker that I like to make people laugh. I like to entertain. And I check in on that. I check in on that to see if it's please like me, or is it actually my natural flow of who I am. And I'm happy to say nowadays it is me just being happy and liking to see other people smile, to lighten the energy around me in this world that we can find sometimes chaotic and quite difficult. So checking in on how you are and how you present yourself is very important as well down here, because the ego system that Julianus in the angel realms talk of can completely mar our soul energy and our true purpose for being. So ego, when people think of the word ego, if someone told me about ego about 20 years ago, I would have thought ego is feeling good about yourself, you know, being full of yourself. Well, they've got loads of ego. They've got a load of you know what. That's what I thought ego was, but it's not. Ego, the ego system, as far, I don't even know what it means in the dictionary, but the ego system, as far as my divine loved ones that look out for me are, is every human emotion that can interfere or manifest due to whatever we expose ourselves to. So ego isn't just about ego. It can be fear, doubt, love, strength, anger, happiness, bliss. It can be a beautiful vehicle for us to take ourselves to wonderful opportunities, or it can mar us and stop us in our tracks. And, you know, especially with change, when we have to make change on this planet, and I've been forced into it so many times now, I've lost count. The ego comes in, the fear comes in. And even now, you know, me moving across the country, it's like I am fearful. I don't know why, because when I step back and put myself in that void again, I look at the true purpose of what it's all about. And I know it's the best move I'll ever make. But still those little ego monkeys want to jump in and bring that fear, which is totally illogical. It's totally unnecessary, but it's there. And so you have to decide whether you want to run with ego or run with your soul energy, your intuition. We weren't put down on this planet during the times of the Anunnaki just to roll around and eat, procreate, kill and die. It wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. We were down here for an experience, and at a certain allotted time, our consciousness was placed within us and our soul, which hadn't happened before. If you go back to the origins of humanity, they were almost quite sentient beings, but more about procreation, survival, and then going back up again. But when we had this reflective, beautiful energy placed within us, which was that soul connection to the divine, that's when the ego started to create itself, good or bad. It's great. Ego is brilliant because it helps us navigate through 3D challenges, triumphs, and stuff that we have to negotiate down here. But equally, it can be your worst nightmare. It could be your biggest enemy. And so what we need to do, as I keep saying, is differentiate ego between soul knowledge and intuition. So that means, as I keep saying, during this time, I guide you, I implore you to sit with yourself on everything that spikes your ego. So if we go on, you know, even things like if someone suddenly says, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do that for you, I want to do this for you, I want to do that, and they start, it's lovely. But just have a look at it. What is it? What are the dynamics of the energy here? Who are they as a person? What are they bringing to the table? Are they bringing any ego? Are they part of my soul tribe? Are they assisting me in this? Is it out of pure kindness and benevolence? Just gauge everything and just feel it. Feel it. And the other thing is as well is, have you ever had someone walk in and you think, I don't like them, straight away? Soul recognizance of something that doesn't resonate on your frequency, right? And so you think, I don't like them, but then you get talking to them, you think, oh, they're nice after all. So then what you've got to ask yourself is that your ego that's saying that? How many? Sorry, I'm wobbling because Mila's decided to have a little play with her teddy bear, her favourite teddy bear. So you need to analyse that. And I've done a lot of this. Believe me, I've had time to think about everything in the world, to be honest with you. So you're chatting to them and they've basically come across as really nice, and their soul, if it is not resonating on your level, could possibly saying you need to say this, you need to do that, because we need to like make friends with these people because that's going to be your boss or whatever it is, right? Total hypothetical thing. And then you suddenly warm to them and think, oh, they're really nice actually. How many times have they then crossed you later on and you've said, bloody knew it, I bloody knew it. So again, this is another brilliant example of ego versus intuition. So we have to make sure that we're gauging, listening to our gut, and then we act appropriately. So we think, right, I felt wrong about this person. They could talk the legs off a hind legs off a donkey, but I'm just going to keep myself slightly distant, be aware of my energy, not giving away too much power to them, because I'm going to go by my first feeling. And that's the sort of thing that will keep you safe as you navigate the 3D world. Okay? So always check in with yourself with new experiences, whether positive or negative, to make sure they feel right with you. That's so important. You can't go wrong if you see some tattooed person coming and go, hi, and they haven't got any makeup on. But all I'm saying is just take a breath. Invest your energy wisely. Invest your words wisely. And keep yourself in this sovereign state of being that, again, isn't part of the ego, but is part of, I respect my soul life, my soul purpose, my soul energy, and I can't allow this person to invade that with their ego. And it's just part of you owning that kingdom of your energy that can't be dissipated by others, okay? It's very hard to negotiate any challenges and bumps in the road on this planet, because you've got to deal with other people that are from all different levels of existence. You could be dealing with a soul that's been here for a year. You could be dealing with a soul that's been here a million years and could be just 2 years old human. It is just a really intrinsic part of our learning. And also that is why we are so attracted to people watching. Because even though we are curious as a race, within us, we're searching, we're looking for our people that resonate on our frequency. And when you see them, it's like, boom, you're instantly connected to them, you're instantly attracted to them in one way or another, not necessarily sexually attracted, but you feel you need to embrace them, you want more out of them, you want to talk with them, you want to spend time with them. And these are normally part of your soul family, or they resonate at the same age as your soul. And it's a beautiful thing when you find those people, either soulmates, soul family, or someone that is as old as you in years of your soul. Oh, my ear's just gone deaf and really high pitched. So that's a very important pivotal part of what we need to talk about today. It's an angel free flow, darlings. Angel and guide free flow. And so integrating with other human beings is really interesting. It's part of our soul purpose, and how we react to them, how we allow them in our lives, how we allow them to help us sometimes, how they can create opportunity for us, how they can create downfall for us. It's all different. And, you know, you don't have to expose yourself to these people either. So standing your ground and not exposing yourself to these people takes a lot of courage, but it certainly is encouraged. And the same as what you expose yourself to. Last night, I don't know, have you also ever noticed that there are certain series on the TV that you can and can't watch? Some things you just think, oh, I can't even watch that at the moment. It's too violent, or it's just not. Oh. And then other times you can handle it, but then there's a certain element of it that you can't, you can and can't. So your soul will be updating, regulating, and then producing thoughts, feelings, and intuition to guide you where you need to go. And in some parts of your upgrades, whether it's angels telling you something, or you've learned something new, or you've become more aware of a higher frequency, these things are going to hurt if you watch them. It's like, I can't believe that I watch Game of Thrones, because even if I see any of that now, I think, oh my God, the violence in it, no. Whereas I loved it at the time, but I think I was quite numb then. And I just thought, just forget about what you see and just look at the, you know, the integral part of the story. So it's really important what you expose yourself to as well. And also note what you like to watch and what you don't like to watch now. Note how sensitive you get during this transition. Check in on yourself on everything that you expose yourself to on a daily basis. Your taste will change. Your belief systems will change. You will start to feel more proactive in making change. You may change your job, your relationships, your friendships. This transitional phase of going up to this higher frequency, there's just two ways. You either go with it or you don't. Most of who I call the sheeple are people that are not aware of empathy on a level that we are. They don't feel any responsibility for the planet. They're the litter droppers. They're the people that might see someone doing something wrong and ignore it. They just want to take. They are orientated around money. They follow the herds. They believe everything they're shown. They see us as conspiracy theorists, nutters, don't believe in anything at all supernatural, don't believe in anything that isn't just in front of them on the 3D plane. These are usually people that are very, very young in soul age. And so they've come down quite early. These are the sort of people that will be criminals, if you like. People that wouldn't care about taking from someone or allowing someone else to suffer or an animal to suffer. But there's levels, obviously, you know, we're going from real deep to up, if you know what I mean. There are some that will use people, use situations. And the problem with that is the more sensitive we get as the ones that are going to that consciousness are going to be more downtrodden. Yet another one has done this to me. Yet another one has taken the mickey out of me. Yet I've been exposed to this again. You can't reflect that. That's going back into your ego system. You can't reflect on that. You just have to honour it, step back, look at the void and just think, young soul, fair play, okay, what do I take from that? I take that I'm arm's length, I'm respecting my sovereignty, I'm respecting the fact that I've been exposed to this as part of my learning and I'm going to let that go now. It's bloody hard, but once you start getting used to it, it saves you so much grief and pain. I'll tell you that now. It really, really does. And anything that you are upgraded on, I call it upgrading because it is. I remember when I was first developing as a medium, I think this is in Rise and Fall book as well, when I suddenly knew all the names of the spirit people that were coming through. I was like, oh my God, I know their first and last names. Then it was numbers, then it was addresses, then it was occupations. And then I thought, I'm smashing it. And then they'll go and then something else will come in. But all they do is they implement these little upgrades because they know you're ready, whether you feel you are or not. And they'll implement all these upgrades just to create this lovely balance of knowledge and communication. And so you'll get this, you know, so don't be worried when you start thinking, I can't drink tea anymore. I can't eat meat anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't go to zoos anymore. I can't, you know, battery hen eggs. Who eats them? Sheeple. Who eats them? But I know that we will be coming to a vegan species. We won't be eating animals in the future. Everything will be recreated in such a pure process that we'll just need what our fuel needs for our bodies and we won't be eating sentient beings. I know that, but it's not, it's ages off yet. But these things will take place with you. You'll have mood swings where you're euphoric and then other times you're not. A lot of these mood swings normally connect with either the county you're in or the state you're in or the country you're in or how far your soul resonates with the consciousness of the planet. So mine is now pretty much gone global. So sometimes it's like, I haven't even put this on a video, but I thought, oh my God, something's not right. I feel fear. I feel like there's something really horrific. And I knew it was like a mass shooting again. And then I think it was yesterday. And I think there was school children shot or something. And so my choice is to go, oh my God, the children, they've been shot. There's been another person with a gun. Or it's stand back, send love, strength, ask the seraphim to be there. Send love and strength to the family, send prayers to the children, and just send healing to that energy. And then step back. So the mood swings that I get sometimes can obviously be about human stuff. At the end of the day, we're still doing a human experience here, so don't beat yourselves up. But there are times when you might feel really negative or upset, sad, scared, worried, for no reason whatsoever, and you're picking up on spikes of energy in your local area, state, as I said, county, wherever you are, or it could be world energy. So a lot of you get it already. A lot of you pick up on things and know, God, there's volcanic activity going to happen, you know, or whatever it is, and you can feel it. You are aligning yourself to the Schumann resonance. You're aligning yourself to the collective consciousness, which sees, feels, and knows all. What a gift. Oh, we've come down a magnificent time, darlings. So yes, there are things that aren't too pleasant, but in the scheme of things, you, because you're watching this channel, so if unless it's by mistake or you just want to have a look and think, you are part of the movement. You are part of the new consciousness. You are shaping the future planet that's going to come into fruition. You are shaping the future of this planet through your intentions, your behaviour, your words, your goals, your efforts to try and help in any way the planet and the people on it and the animals on it. You are magnificent. You are stronger than any of the elites, politicians. You are stronger than any of these. They've just implemented man-made rules, man-made structures, man-made jails, man-made everything. Everything is man-made down here. The one thing that is not man-made is our soul energy. And they hate the freedom and the strength that will bring when we realise we are invincible. We will see through all the BS, already are. We will stand forward. We will produce the leaders of tomorrow. They're already coming. They'll all have that stunning strain running through them of consciousness, awareness, benevolence. They'll have that mediation energy going on. They'll identify intuition with ego. We are having the perfect consciousness balance with ego being created with every generation that's coming in. Started in the 80s. And so when we start integrating with our galactic friends, it won't be catch it, cut it up and kill it. It'll be, hello friend, how are we going to work together? What can we do to help humanity? We're not there yet. There's going to be a lot of disclosure, though. I'll tell you that now. I've already said this a couple of months ago with UFO and alien. I hate saying UFO and alien. It just sounds so human. They're our friends. They're our cohorts. They've brought us so much technology, and they still do, despite the fact that so many have been taken out in all these secret government places. But do you know what? Sometimes you might get overwhelmed with the intensity of it, and that's what I did. I cried about the failed rescue attempt of those 2,000 dogs. I sat and felt what it must be like for those dogs to go through perpetual torture, and I allowed myself to go into the ego state, and it really did bring me down badly. And so I wanted to share that, to show you how to get out of that and how to push above it and how to not allow darkness to bring you down. There's plenty more stuff to come. But as I keep saying, how many times have I said underbelly in the last 6 months? It's the underbelly getting ripped open. Child trafficking, we've already tipped on it with Epstein. But that's going to be another one that's coming up. And it's not about the fact that the world's getting more evil. It's the fact that the screen's going back and we're seeing the reality of what we're doing to ourselves and how to stop it. So that's going to be another massive exposure. Hang on a minute, I'm just going up because I think they want to tell me something. Hang on. Do you like these little free-for-all chats? I don't at the moment. I don't feel my energy, and this is real personal observation that I'm going to share with you, is I feel like I don't want to have to deliver what people expect of me. When she's doing a prediction, when she's doing that, when she's doing tarot, when she's doing... I just want to address what they want me to bring to you. Period. I will never be placed in a box. I will never be told what I should and shouldn't do. This is a free-flowing, ever-growing, evolving movement that we find ourselves going through on this planet, and I shall stand by whatever they want me to share with you. It's a nice little surprise as well, isn't it? Just getting different things each time. What's that you're showing me? It's Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel. The reason I know is he always stands strong and tall and exudes a bronze golden light that flashes around him like the sun. So he's also bringing messages for you. So the next thing that will also come up, this is most, I don't know if this is next year, he hasn't given me Gregorian time. Housing, homelessness, refugees. So it's going to have to get worse before it gets better. Don't concentrate on the worst. This is again another stage of us giving people the rights to have a home to live in. Having safe places for those that are legitimately fleeing war zones. Just people having the right to a roof over their heads. So there could be implementations of cheaper ways of getting accommodation. The economy changing to get that housing and homing. That's another thing that's going to come into fruition, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. So we could expect perhaps record levels of homelessness or vulnerability. Perhaps something awful will happen, and then it'll be like, right, we've got to put a stop to this as well. And then we will have us fighting for the rights of that on a massive level. You know, just like what's happening now with the animals. As I said, most probably about a year ago, about suddenly there'll be a massive surge of banning everything that we've accepted all this time, like greyhound racing and, you know, all these sea animals in captivity just flipping up out the water for everybody to laugh at. It's, you know, zoos, captivity, it's all starting to change. The banning of boiling crabs and lobsters alive and God knows what. So it's all slow. It's all starting, darlings. It's already here. There's no green light. Dong, doo, doo, doo. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know, you've now entered the 5D. It will start at 5:30 today and you'll be completely aligned and everything will be amazing. Enjoy your utopian future. Out. Ding, dong, ding. It's not going to be that. It's starting already. It's here. It's growing. And we're carving out the crap. It's as simple as that. The UN will be another one that's going to be hit. The WEF. Just watch it all unfurl. But look at the void. Look at that beautiful swirling cosmic energy that's saying it's all good. It's all another cog in the wheel of change and transition. So you can't panic. You cannot allow your ego to take you down that hole. And I did. And I'm going to admit it. You know, I'm no bloody amazing person that's got it all sus. Jesus, no. Not at all. But what I do know is I get to a certain level and I pull myself back and analyse and go within to see why I'm reacting, how I'm reacting and how I can adapt from it and rectify it. You know, it doesn't matter about the fall. It matters how you get up. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It's how many times you get back up. That's all you've got to focus on. And don't be scared of the change that will take place as you grow. Don't be scared of that, because it's beautiful, and it's them aligning you to this new way of being. And, you know, it makes me laugh how I used to say about this years ago, about this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and everyone's like, whatever. And then it happens, and you're like, thank you very much. You know, whatever it may be. New laws, new ways of being, stopping this, banning that, standing up for your rights. And there's going to be lots of civil marches, unrests to say no more. That's going to carry on, and it's going to get bigger. So again, don't allow your ego to go, oh my God, it's getting worse, everybody's going mental. We're standing up and saying no more, because we've just been told to just listen and obey. Religion will be another part of it. For some reason as well, the Jewish faith are being attacked, and we'll continually have synagogues and things happen there. I don't know what that's about at the moment. I need to go up actually and properly ask in meditation, in my own energy. But again, religious constructs are reshaping. Again, I mentioned this on Alex's show. Huge thing for religion, changing its way, shape and form. People aligning themselves to their own sovereignty, their own knowledge, their own belief systems. Belief system to me is a bit weak actually, because it's not a belief. I know 100%. Don't believe anything, I know. And then they'll take what they need from people that expose themselves to media like me and think that feels right and resonates with me, rather than you can't do this, you can't do that. If you do that, it's a sin. If you do that, you can't do this. You're going to hell. All of that. It's getting a bit old now. It's had its reign. It's had its reign. But now the spiritually free are coming back into play, as we were with the Anunnaki. Is coming back. So that is going to crumble. Of course, people have their faith systems, and, you know, the Orthodox ones will stick to their man-made religions. That's absolutely fine, whatever brings you through. But saying that, they won't embrace the bigger picture. They won't go into 5D consciousness if they are aligned to a man-made situation that they have to adhere to, that stops them from being free. Does that make sense? Absolutely no disrespect on any religion whatsoever, but some will only live and abide by the word of what's been told in their particular Bible, which is fine. It's absolutely fine, but they will be part of the herd, which is absolutely fine, because we have to have yin and yang at the end of the day, won't we? But, you know, as the years, the Gregorian years continue, there will be yin and yang. There will still obviously be darkness, but it will be exposed quicker. There will be less injustice. There will be more love and benevolence. And it sounds like a fairy tale, but it's not, because it's needed. Otherwise, we won't last. I think about... In fact, I think it was when I was in bed for those years, and they showed me 2032, and potentially there was nothing left. Potentially there was nothing left in 2032. It was just desert, and it looked a bit like Mad Max. Do you know Mad Max 1, the first one, and the second one? It was just desert. There were a few dodgy looking humans about that had survived somehow through the nuclear blast. And they were just going to die out, and that was the end of the planet. They were just going to go, we're done. It's just, you've created it yourselves. And they showed the higher consciousness people being taken out and taken up to another planet, including the animals. It's a bit like, you know, the Ark again. A bit like Noah's Ark. That did happen. The planet was flooded, but not quite how it's written, but it was flooded. And yeah, it's just, we tried, we failed in trying to help them, guide them. Ego and free will smashed everything we tried to do, so we'll move on, create another planet, birth another planet with Seraphim, and start again. So that was, I was like, oh crap, 2032, and that's it. And I had that in my energy for about 6 months. I thought, oh my God, the world's going to end at 2032. Someone's going to push the button. It's going to get so bad. It's just going to be blasted out of existence. I didn't say it to anybody. Actually, I did a couple of people. Faye might be one of them, I think. I don't know. But I was like, something's got to change. And so that's why it's implemented. That is why it's all coming in to save us, save the planet and our future generations, because it is not on the right path at the moment by any stretch at all. But that's okay. As long as we stand strong, we stand together, we stand in courage, and we don't fear and we don't adhere to all of this BS that's been thrown upon us over all these years. And I don't mean we need to be rebels. I don't mean that we need to riot in the streets. But by questioning and standing our ground and joining as a collective and saying, that's not quite right, is it? That's not happening. We'll get there. Standing your own power is the most magnificent thing you'll ever do. Everything that touches you in any way, shape or form, it will be 1,000 times easier for you to manage and negotiate. Still going to hit hard. Grief, loss, trauma, you know, frustrations in this 3D life. But if you jump to the 5D, if you jump to your soul energy, you jump to your conscious energy, your intuition, and distance yourself from the, they said this, he did this to me, she did that, this has happened, that's happened, this injustice. Step back. You will rectify this situation so much easier by sending your power out, because that power will be magnified, but all the others are picking up on it around you. I hope this all makes sense. I hope this doesn't come across as just random drivel. But this is how my mind works. This is what happens when I sit quietly. They fill me with all of this reflection, things to chew over, things that are to come in the future, things that I need to concentrate on. They show me what energy I need to send out to a certain place. They send me warnings sometimes, cautionary things, guidance, love, comfort. You've got everything you could possibly need around you. You just got to open up to it and receive. Careful what you wish for, though, because sometimes I've said things and boom, it's like, oh, I didn't actually mean it like that, and I've attracted something like, whoa. Be careful what you wish for. Manifest in your journals. Do your guided meditations. Manifest what you wish. Create your realities. Create your future. Don't be fearful, and know that you're part of one of the most strongest energy sources that will be seen for millions, trillions, billions of miles from the planet. Your light will be seen by the benevolence. Your light will be seen by the angel realms. And when I last blended with Metatron, which was that last video? I can't remember. And he made me feel all of the lights going on. It was like seeing a world map and all the lights pinging on of people that have suddenly gone, I get it. I get it. I'm open, I'm awake, I'm changing. I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things, I'm knowing things I shouldn't know. And you see it as well reflected in the emails and messages on here. It's like, I'm suddenly hearing people in my room. What am I doing? I'm really terrified. It's like, society's taught you to be terrified. Open up. I'm waking up. Fantastic. I'm on the boat that's going towards the movement. I'm not on the one that's going to sink in the middle of the sea because I refuse to open my energy up, or don't know how to, or don't even want to know how to. It's really exciting. It's really good. So anyway, darlings, I've rambled enough now. I'm going to put this across and see if you like this sort of conversation as well. Let me know. I've really enjoyed speaking out what I normally just sit here and think about. I normally sit in the garden, sit by the ocean, sit in the woodland, and this is the sort of stuff that happens. So I thought I'd vocalise it. I hope you enjoy it. Until the next time, darlings, just keep going, keep opening, and just love yourself and be the best version of yourself you can. And that will get you exactly where you need to be. God bless. Please press the like button and the subscription, because that's what will keep our tribe going. Many thanks. Love you all.